We are less than 2 weeks away from Britain's Strongest Woman, which is being held by Giants Live, which means it's going to be huge. Lizzie, we've not been making many videos the last couple of weeks.
We haven't. We've been very busy. However, there is a lot of Strongman coming up now over the next few weeks. It's very exciting and lots to talk about.
Well, we've got a whole Strongman, Strongwoman weekend to get excited for, and we're going to talk about the women today.
So it's a whole weekend of Strongman, and it starts off on the Saturday with Britain's Strongest Woman. Now, this is being held at Doncaster Dome, which is where they used to do Britain's Strongest Man. It kind of feels like Strongwoman is coming along really nicely, and it's where Strongman was in the UK several years ago.
Yeah, the popularity...
The same trajectory.
Absolutely. I mean, over the last couple of years, the women are really starting to become genuine superstars, and we see these incredible performances. Obviously, we just very recently had Rebecca Roberts and Lucy doing the Deadlift World Championships, which was unbelievable. And now, I believe, as it stands, more tickets have been sold for the women's competition on the Saturday than on the Sunday, which is the men's England Strongest Man. So I feel we should talk about these women.
Yes, let's introduce the athletes. Starting off with none other than three-time World's Strongest Woman, Donna Moore.
Then we have another former world champion, Andrea Thompson, third place at the Arnold's this year, recently tore her bicep. This is her first competition back since that injury.
We have a lot of world champions in the UK, because next is 2021's World's Strongest Woman, Rebecca Roberts, who placed second at OSG Europe this year.
And then a rising star in the women's side of the sport, just recently placing third at the women's OSG Europe's, Katie Smith.
Next up, she competes in the under 64 kilo class, but she is an absolute powerhouse, make no mistake. Kate Connolly is stepping out in with the opens.
Next up, we have 2021 World's Strongest Master, Aisha Ullah.
Then we had Lucy Underdown, who is having an incredible year so far. Obviously, she won OSG Europe's, and most recently, she broke the 700-pound barrier at the World Deadlift Championships, lifting in total 318 kilos.
Yeah, what a lift it was as
Incredible.
well. We talk about powerful individuals. The world champion in the under 64 kilo class, absolute deadlift monster, Rhiannon Lovelace.
Then we have Chloe Brennan, who last year moved up a weight class into the 73 kilo class, and she is obviously most famed for that incredible moment at the Arnold's last year when she lifted the Dinnie Stones unassisted.
And just recently won the 73 kilo class at OSG Europe's as well. Next up, we've got Emma Jane Smith, and you spoke about the Dinnie Stones earlier. This is another lady that's lifted these stones, an incredible feat of strength.
Then we have Naomi Hadley, and she was the winner of this year's OSG Europe's Strongest Master.
We've got Laura Baxter from Scotland coming down. I saw her have an incredible battle with Donna Moore last year. Looking forward to seeing what she can do this year.
And last but certainly not least, we have Claire Myler. Now, last year at the official Strongman Games, Claire was on the podium for World's Strongest Master, but she was actually given a first place trophy for World's Strongest Woman over 50 because she was the highest placing out of all the women aged 50 plus.
Yeah,
so
she's got almost like the Mark Felix on the women's side.
She is.
Absolutely incredible.
She is.
Doesn't age as well.
No. Yeah. She is our female Mark Felix. There you go.
Right, so an outstanding list of athletes. Remember, this is Britain's Strongest Woman, not World's Strongest Woman, and the amount of world and European champions that we have in this list is quite frightening. Let's quickly look into the events, though, because events always are important when it comes down to who we think can win these type of competitions.
Okay, we're not going to go into weights because we're not 100% certain.
I'm pretty sure the log is 90 kilos, but
okay.
I don't want to say that and be wrong.
Okay, so they're starting with the log for reps. Now, what makes this so interesting to me is that even though we've got all of these champions, there's such varying on the spectrum, aren't they? Because you've got Rhiannon Lovelace, who is multiple.
Variety.
Yes, you've got weight class varieties in here, age varieties as well. It's a real mixture of talent and strength. So it's going to be very interesting. I love seeing them compared against each other on the same equipment.
I love that some of these lighter athletes aren't scared to get stuck in and compete with the heavyweight athletes.
Rhiannon Lovelace has competed in men's competitions. She doesn't care, and I love that about her.
For so many of the athletes, it is a test of themselves. They obviously want to beat 100%. Each other, but it's pushing themselves to the limit as well. And the lighter weight athletes, they are going to be at a disadvantage against the super heavyweights and the larger athletes, if you like. But I love that it doesn't matter to them.
And still look out for people like Kate Connolly, who's a phenomenal log presser. But then, of course, we've got the more obvious big names on the log, like Andrea. But how is Andrea going to be after that injury, Lotto?
Do you know what? Her log lifting is actually going very well.
Good.
She's just progressing. I'm having to hold her back.
Of course.
And she wants to push and push and push.
Yeah.
But we're quite happy with the progress, and I think log she's going to be absolutely fine with. So we talk about some of the smaller athletes. I mean, Rhiannon Lovelace is going to be looking forward to the axle deadlift, but nobody can kind of top Lucy Underdown when it comes to the deadlift right now. I don't believe there's a woman out there that can beat Lucy on a deadlift.
No, because Lucy's just brilliant at every deadlift. It just doesn't matter reps, max weight. She's going to be fine.
We were talking about the recent world record at the Deadlift World Championships. Now, she was the star of the show in that, compared to the men as well. Lucy was the star of the show, and she made it look comfortable.
There was more there.
I 100% believe she's got more in her.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing what she can push it up to next year.
Yeah.
But on this deadlift, I think she goes in, focuses on taking the win. But yeah, for me, Lucy Underdown is going to be the one to beat when it comes to the deadlift.
Then we have the sandbag steeplechase. Now, please, Lozzie, explain the steeplechase to us.
So this is basically a sandbag loading event. So the athletes have 2 sandbags. They start one end. They will carry the sandbag over a yoke, run back, get another one, bring it over the yoke, then they come round, pick them up and load it onto a platform. So essentially it's like you're loading 4 sandbags. Pretty draining event, quite taxing in terms of the fitness side of things. And could favour someone completely different than we see on maybe the deadlift or the log. I think someone like Rebecca Roberts, she's just got those kind of long levers. She's good at lifting awkward objects.
She just covers so much ground with her long legs as well. I mean, Rebecca Roberts is, 6'4"?
She's very, very tall. I think this type of event should suit her.
But then you've got, they're going to miss out on the wingspan, of course, but there's some very fast, smaller athletes as well, like Chloe Brennan.
There are. I just feel that because you're competing with the heavier weight athletes, I think someone like Rebecca, huge wingspan, the ability to move as well, I think is going to suit her. Actually, this is an event I'd be more worried about for sort of Andrea.
Because Andrea's not tall, is she?
She's not tall. She's very, very stocky.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried whether she has the kind of wingspan to get around these as easily as someone that's taller, maybe like a Lucy or Rebecca. The yoke. Now, we've got some phenomenal yoke athletes in this lineup. Chloe Brennan, unbelievable. We've seen her on the car walk at OSG before. She's fantastic at that. Again, Andrea Thompson loves this type of event.
Yoke,
Donna Moore's good at this. Lucy's good. Rebecca's good. So this will be an interesting one for me.
What sort of weights are they doing for the yoke?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's between kind of probably around the 250 mark.
I was going to say 250 to 300.
Yeah, we don't have the weights, unfortunately. If we do get them, we'll post them in the link, but the description below. But I would be guessing around the sort of 260, something like that. And that's a great weight for Andrea. I mean, when I think of Andrea in this competition, obviously I'll mention Andrea just because I'm coaching her. Yoke and log are really her banker events. They're events that I'd expect her to be challenging for the win on. Deadlift, as long as the biceps recovering well, I think she'll challenge on that as well. And then probably be more of a struggle for her in terms of power stairs. She's got huge chunky legs. She's short. She's not going to like that implement. And the loading as well, shorter arms, not so good, has to lift a bit higher. And I try and kind of do this with all the athletes, and then looking through every single athlete. I think at the end of the competition, we're going to have a battle between Lucy and Rebecca Roberts.
Should we get to the end of the competition with our final event then?
We probably should.
The power stairs, as you've mentioned now. Now, I like giant slide power stairs because it's quite woman friendly. I mean, the world's ones, I don't feel like a woman, unless you're a giant, will be able to do that because the stairs are ridiculously high, aren't they? But these ones, we've seen the women do it before in the World Team Championships last year. And do we know how many implements they're going to be doing?
I believe it's 4 implements, 3 steps each. So 12 steps in total.
Yeah.
And the weights are obviously lighter than the men's weights that they'll be using. I think, again, some of the athletes will struggle, particularly the shorter athletes. It's going to suit those taller athletes that have the space to lift it up high enough between the legs.
Maybe a Rhiannon with her incredible deadlift strength would be okay.
She has incredible deadlift strength, but power stairs doesn't necessarily favour a great deadlifter because great deadlifters often have really long arms, and that doesn't, just deadlifting it's usually not high enough. So you need to kind of high pull a little bit as well. So sometimes having shorter arms Like you look at Maxime, for instance, in the men's side of things, not the best deadlifter in the world,
great at power
but great
stairs.
at power stairs.
Yeah, it's true.
Ivers, not the best at deadlift, great at power stairs. It isn't always the best deadlifter that is the best at power stairs. So it's something to kind of think about and look at, because a lot of people just think, oh, you're a great deadlifter, you should be good at it. It's not always the case. So yeah, that being said, for me, this is all about Rebecca Roberts and Lucy Underdown. They had a great battle at OSG Europes recently. Now, that's not to dismiss the likes of Andrea Thompson, Donna Moore, and a whole host of other incredible athletes here. But looking at the events, I feel they have the least weaknesses in terms of everyone else. Now, Andrea is coming back from an injury. She's definitely not back to her best. My goal for her is to get through this and enjoy it. I think she'll do well on a couple of events. I think she'll struggle on a couple of events. I think Donna is in that similar vein of could do really well on some events, might struggle a bit more on a few events. A lot of the weight class athletes, I think, will be the same. You know, Rhiannon on a deadlift, she's going to be fantastic. But some of these awkward, bigger objects, she's just not going to be able to handle as easily as, I say this with love, a freak like Rebecca. You know,
I know what you mean.
It's like you look at Tom Stoltman. Tom Stoltman against a 6 foot man, he's just got a huge advantage when it comes to carrying awkward objects. And it's the same for Rebecca in terms of some of these objects. So it's a big advantage. That's not to say she's not training hard as well, which she is, which makes her even more dangerous. But for me, I would put my money on one of those two to take the win. They're both in great form right now. They're both confident. I feel for me, if I was a betting man, that's where my money would be going.
So this is going to be live streamed, isn't it, on officialstrongman.com. Now, this is the Saturday show, as we've talked about. Men's show is on the Sunday. The women's starts at 4 p.m. on the Saturday. So it's being held at Doncaster Dome. There are just a few tickets left. I feel like they sold out of tickets and they've actually added more seating to this, looking at the seat map. Trying to see where I would sit. No, I'm not sitting. But no, we're going to be there doing our behind the scenes as always. Really excited for the women.
Yeah, you're doing the behind the scenes stuff. I will be on the commentary for
the live stream.
Official Strongman, along with Terry Hollins, I'm presuming.
We find out when we get there.
We do. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend of action. If you can't make it live, make sure you tune into officialstrongman.com. We hope you guys enjoy the show. It's an amazing opportunity for the women's side of the sport to keep growing and to show us all what they're capable of. I've been so impressed watching the women for the last few years. Half the time it's more entertaining than watching the men as well. You know, I think that's a...
Do you know what? Like, there's a lot of noise online about the women's side. When you've got something like the Arnold, you'll see in the live stream chat, it just turns, you know, it derails and it's like, oh, I don't want to watch a woman. That is never the case in person.
No.
Like, when you talk to someone who was actually there, they're so positive and they're like, oh, my favourite moment was Lucy's deadlift or Andrew's log at the Arnold's.
I just think what's great is that they're inspiring so many other women to want to get into the gym and lift and compete and grow their confidence. And, you know, there's lots and lots of positive movements happening because of these women. So get behind them, support them. We will be there. It's going to be an amazing show. As always, guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Give us a comment on who you think is going to win Britain's Strongest Woman 2023. And we'll catch you guys next time.
And then we'll go into it in more depth after.
We are less than two...
Sorry, I was arranging my boobs.
We are 2 weeks...
And then last but certainly not least, we have Claire Myler, who was on the podium. Oh, God.
I don't know even what I was saying then.
You seemed a bit panicked.
Yeah, I am. Make sure you tune into Official Strongman Games.
Officialstrongman.com.
It's the world champion in the under 62 kilo class.
64.
Yeah.